Come out of the box. Get yourself out the box. Get yourself out the box.
Hello, YouTube. Cheers, and welcome to the basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
D-Boy Slim.
Now, the basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. We take one topic a week and debate a different question about that topic every day. This week's topic is violence in hip-hop. Yes, we're doing it, and that's all there is to it. With that being said, Lego.
What's up, YouTubers? It's Slim and Bruce getting back at you. Today's topic being, what is it? The violence in today's hip-hop, or violence in hip-hop, period.
That's this week's topic, but today we're going to specifically talk about, is art imitating life? Is life imitating the art?
That's a good question, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good question. I happen to think that art is actually imitating reality, more or less, because whether people know it or not, or whether you're secluded in the suburbs, and even in the suburbs nowadays, for that matter, like, young dudes got guns. Like, I was sitting back and, we do our homework and research for pretty much all these shows, and I was sitting back and just looking up different regions where, artists might have gotten to this and that. And the one thing that stands out is just that the fact that young dudes is with the shit. And it's pardon my language, but young dudes, have access to guns and they're using them.
Just a quick interlude. Is that because we made it okay? Everybody having the guns and shooting it and putting it on World Star, I think could be because we told them that that's what you need to do. We don't have to have good music anymore. As long as you bussin', that makes it cool. And everybody go, ooh, when they hear that line that wasn't really well spoken. It just said, I'll kill you. And everybody said, he said he'll kill you.
There were actually kids getting gunned down in neighborhoods across the country every day. And that's not an art, nor is that a gimmick or a trend to sell any kind of record. I want to give you a couple names because, a few of these artists that we do listen to right now, and that's popping right now, they experienced that before the hip-hop, long before the music.
Okay.
Dudes out of Atlanta, such as 21 Savage, he was actually, and he says it in the song, he was suspended from junior high school. This is 7th grade. He was suspended for having a gun. His man, No Plug, as I'm sure y'all familiar with by now on YouTube, guy who comes out and says he murdered Bankroll Fresh. Obviously, without having any rap song, we know him for a murder. And that's not, I've listened to his music. Honestly, his music is trash. He'll probably always be known more for who he murdered and not what song he came out. That's reality. That's there's nothing, there's no art form about that. That's a reality. And if the neighborhood that they coming out of, the 9th Ward on the west side of Atlanta, that's a reality.
That's a reality. In the terms of hip hop, though, I wouldn't be surprised. We said this before. I'm not trying to swagger jack, but I wouldn't be surprised if his exact words right before that was, "Watch me get on."
Watch me get on.
You can get on just because of the violence alone. Like, the art has turned us into I remember we had an interview last week with a young man named Sir Classic. We were talking about the eras in hip hop. He mentioned, and we agree completely, before, a long time ago, so it seems, there was also violence in hip hop then too. And they had the same conversations we're having. But there was a consequence involved when you said it. There was a reality that was, hey, I come from here, I don't want to be here anymore. And you heard it when you listened to the album. Yeah, they might be gangster, but they also talked about the cops and why they were gangster and who they had to hustle for and what the reasons was about it. And I think it got construed when we started to make it violence for violence sake. Violence because it's cool. We started to turn it to the Terminator movie. We started to turn it to the box office. And I'll just give you Slim Jesus.
Slim Jesus.
Perfect example, okay? He doesn't shoot nothing. He doesn't even shoot pool, okay? But if you look at his video, his joint is the biggest joint with the baddest banana clip with the laser on top and the bang bang right there at the camera. Ooh, bam. And he said it specifically, I like how that music sounds. I think that music is cool. We told him that. We started to make it a gimmick and a glamour. And he says he won't shoot nobody because he's scared of the repercussions if he said he did. Even if he lied about it. Another one that just says my point exactly. I want to hear what you say about this. We have a man named Gunplay. And when it was time to play with the guns, he tried to hit somebody. Y'all remember that? BET Awards, Atlanta, about 2 years ago. Gunplay ran up on 50 with the fist. That is him, the real person, imitating the art. Like, he's not really shooting anything. Like, Gunplay don't play with the guns. If he did, he would have had one. When instead of knuckling up. I think that in order to get on, a lot of people feel like because we've frivolized what violence meant in hip hop. Violence was always in hip hop. But I believe it was, as you say, like when it was that way, it was pronounced that we don't want to be violent. We have to be because of where we come from. And it was a light to the streets.
And I think that's what brings me to my point. I think we can't undermine the fact or underestimate the fact that violence is a lot of people's reality long before the music. For example, Meek Mill, who comes from North Philadelphia.
Meek Mill, okay.
Father was killed. His father was killed. I want to say by the age he was maybe seven. Between it, I think he was either 7 or 8. But his father was killed. Shortly after that, he began to dib and dab as far as the freestyle, the battles, and the hip hop thing was concerned. But and this is all facts and documented. He caught a charge walking to the store in his neighborhood. And if you look at the DC4 album cover, he has a photo of himself. He caught a charge walking to the store, had the strap on, and got his ass whipped by the police. So much to the point that, and this is an unsigned Meek Mill with the cornrows. I've seen photos or you've done your YouTube by now and seen him battling or whatever back in the day with the cornrows in his head. They beat him to a pulp. He had a swollen eye. He had a bloody mouth. One of his eyes was shut, like he got the shit beat out of him. And this is long before the deal. But they ended up. This is why he's on probation now. They ended up charging him and saying he was at fault and he tried to resist arrest from the officer or whatever the case. And I'm not sure if he has a case pending to that, but I'm just speaking to a lot of these artists have come out a lot of these hoods and neighborhoods, and that is what they know. That is all they know. And so when they put it in their music and put it in their art, they're not, trying to imitate reality. That is their reality.
And I think it comes down to this. It's the chicken and the egg. This isn't something that we just started on the basement. Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art, is a question that's been asked throughout the ages, because I believe it's a revolving door. I believe you are right. I believe conditions are such that through the oppression of poor people, especially black people, crime and violence has taken a control of our cities and our neighborhoods. And the poets who talk about that do so. But I think at some point we switched it. And not to say that Meek Mill isn't making his art imitate his life, but I believe that there's a whole lot more that came out there that are imitating the art that they heard, thinking that that's how they get on, because it was such glorification and no consequences, i.e. 22 Savage. You mentioned 21. The whole point of that is imitating the art gives you a 22 Savage, right?
I disagree.
Now, wait a minute. Now, 22 Savage is willing to die. He's willing to die, obviously. He says he doesn't care. He says he wants to get at 21, or 21 can get at him. He's right here, and he's willing to die for this gimmick. And it's because in his mind, this art that he's seen is the only way to do it, or is cool enough for him to do. And another one, I'll let you talk about that, but another one, Soulja Boy. You see, when a dude, this is Rico Reckless in Chicago, daggone murder capital. What he does is he runs to France when he finds out that there's a chance that he can get back. And you can tell it's not his life, because he's then the same one going to jail for putting guns out there. When he's the same one that said, I'm going to put $10,000 on this person's head. It's not real to him. It's all this game, this art. And the way you know the real ones from the fake ones, if you listen to Rico Reckless talk, he'll tell you, I got my kids out of there. The people who really know it and live it say it a different way. And you're right. Like I said, it's a revolving door. And all I want to speak about is the ones on the outside of that door. Because your Soulja Boys would not have a chance. We would have called them fake rappers. We called them, what did you say? Sucker MCs? We would have called them that. But now, nothing really matters. And I think that's our fault, and we have to change that.
I stand on that.
Yeah.
A lot of these dudes would be called sucker MCs. In the 90s, I remember a term was faking jacks. Faking
Soulja Boy, Jesus.
But at the same time, to the point of dudes actually living that life before the music. I look at a T.I.
They exist. You're right.
I look at a T.I. and, he's at the top of the food chain. He's a multi-millionaire mogul. But he's also been to prison on several occasions. This last offense that he had was actually his third conviction. And this is why a lot of people thought that he might have been telling or snitching. Neither here nor there. My point is, the dude already had 2 felony convictions before you even knew who T.I. was. Again, that's his reality. When we go back to the kid 22 Savage that you just was speaking of, and I have to look this up. I'm not sure the kid's real government name, but I think before he even named himself 22 Savage, the kid has a murder trial pending. Yeah. He's on trial for murder right now as we speak, while he's running around saying that he's 22 Savage and on Instagram telling 21 and his boys to pull up. I don't know how smart that is, but like I said, it was his reality long before you knew who he was. I had to look it up myself, and you figure out that, wow, this kid got a murder trial hanging over his head.
I think my point is, there are those that had to, and there are those that now think it's cool because we've made it to a point where it's cool. don't know how else to say it. There's no more eloquent way to say that. I think we've made it cool. And the reason why I keep saying we, the lack of OGs.
I'm gonna tell
These
you.
kids
I'm
don't
gonna tell you
have
this.
no OGs. The violence is so pervasive and nonchalant because the art made it so. And it goes both ways, man. Tell me your last thoughts.
I think it does go both ways. And so that's why when you speak on we've made it cool, we have. It's because that, you know, we're the only art form, and you've heard actors and rappers the same say that, like, and if De Niro has a movie about killing up 30 people, or the Goodfellas, or, you know, any of the mobster movies, everybody's cool with that. He's revered, you know. That was the top gangster in that movie, Scarface, and so on. Our culture, you could tell that same story, but what's different about it is the fact that when you get the kid that actually caught those bodies, that means something. That means something.
That means something.
And so, like I said, I think I happen to believe and agree with you in the fact that, yes, we have made it cool. It's because in our culture, in our genre, in this hip-hop genre, we look for the guy who's most authentic. Because like you said, you can point out the fake ones. So we look for the guy who's most authentic, and that, like I said, is still, and I think it always has been, the driving force in the culture. I think it's a lot of dudes that's still hungry, that still, like you said, had to do what they had to do or whatever, and, you know, this is their outlet. Which is what hip-hop was created for in the first place. This is their outlet.
Truth is, it's a cultural deal. That's why we chose to do this topic for a week. Unfortunately, I'm going to Jamaica. I'm leaving Thursday, Wednesday, actually. Whew. So we only have a couple days to talk about this, but we needed more than one show. Tomorrow's topic, same thing. We're going to have another question about it. But we want you guys to be involved in this. Please leave your comments. Please continue this discussion because we both can agree, you know, the question will remain there long after we're gone. Does art imitate life? Does life imitate art? It's been around for a while. But more importantly, we're speaking to our culture right now. It's an epidemic. It is. Especially in Chicago. It's where I'm from.
We didn't even get into the Chicago
And we're going to do that probably tomorrow. You know what's coming. Because it's been a while since we talked about something like this. I think we ain't talked about violence in hip-hop since the 90s, and it wasn't even as bad then. So, that's the question for tomorrow. Leave your comments.
Shout out.
Shout outs. We had a shout out from Love Me, Love, and Light. That's Love Me, Love, and Light. She commented on the Kanye thing. That's seems to be another topic that everybody seemed to like, another show everybody liked. Thank you, Love Me, Love, and Light. Everybody go and read that. It was a real interesting comment. It was too long to say here, so everybody go read that. Erica Shanklin left a little comment for us. I couldn't decipher it, but I'm sure you meant something good by it. Thank you, Erica Shanklin. Thank you, Love Me and Light. Love Me, Love, and Light. Thank you. Thank everybody for your comments. You know what I mean?
Appreciate the support out there.
Not only do we respect and appreciate your support, but we want you guys to go and subscribe right down there. Press subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. Like the show if you like it. Like whatever shows you do like, but press subscribe. We're going to keep feeding you with good content, and we work hard at giving you the best content. So press subscribe. It's really going to help us out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With that being said,
Till next time.
peace.
I'm one of those who happen to like to believe and think that the ones who actually have lived that life and are able to articulate that in the art form is the driving force in the culture itself.